Hello! Thank you for clicking on today's video. Today is so exciting because it's the beginning of a whole new chapter and a whole new form of statistical inference, hypothesis testing. So remember, the basic definition of a statistical inference is using information from a sample to make an inference about a population. Now, in previous chapters, we talked about the statistical inference confidence intervals. Today, when we're talking about hypothesis testing, or for this set of videos, it is also a form of statistical inference. We still are going to use a sample to make an inference on a parameter, but we're going to ask a specific question about it, or we're going to hypothesize. Now, there are many different types of hypothesis tests because there are many different types of parameters or things you can be interested in. In this chapter, we're going to be focusing on whether or not variables are related to each other. Now, in this set of videos, one thing that I want to make you aware of is the hypothesis testing has been separated into two parts. And the reason I did that is to start you off with the vocabulary. So there is a lot of vocabulary associated with hypothesis testing, much more than confidence intervals. So we're going to start with that, just so you get really comfortable with the vocabulary. And then in part two, we'll start to do the actual calculations that are associated with hypothesis testing. So that's the first thing I wanted to make you aware of. The second thing I wanted to make you aware of is that we will still be using that Fred method. That's great, right? Because it's very similar to what we did with confidence intervals. However, it won't be exactly the same. So keep that in mind. We're still using the method, but it's going to be a little bit different because the inference that we're doing is different. So in future videos, I'm going to start talking about what hypothesis testing is, like if you think about it intuitively and not just in a statistical sense. Then we'll start talking about the vocabulary, and we'll work our way through hypothesis testing slowly but surely, and hopefully make you feel really comfortable by the end of the chapter. One thing that I want you to keep in mind is that initially hypothesis testing can feel a little overwhelming because of all the vocab. However, that vocabulary is going to be reused when we get to chapter 8, and it will be the same vocabulary you use if you ever do hypothesis testing. So that's good. It's worth the effort because you will build on that in future chapters, and hopefully if you continue with statistics in future statistics classes. Okay, I can't wait to get started. See you in future videos.